Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duckbricks. I'm Chris and welcome to LEGO Mini Reviews, the show where I review a ton of different LEGO vintage and new sets right here on the Duckbricks YouTube channel in a short form format. So I have a ton of Bricklink orders to get through as well as just associated LEGO purchases, and I figured instead of making a mega video where I go through every single one that's hours long, why not break it up into separate mini reviews? And so in addition to our normal 3 videos a week schedule, be sure to stay tuned for a mini review dropping every single day where we do not normally have a standard video releasing. I hope you enjoy, and let's jump right into our first pick. Action Comics #1 Superman, released for San Diego Comic-Con 2015. Currently on Bricklink, the actual factory sealed version of the set is selling from $550 to $600 US. And I will have to say that this model in particular has one very obvious error, although I did try to minimize that as much as possible. You see, this car hood right here is supposed to be green. Only problem is, it only appeared in green in this particular set, which means that the part in green is basically not for sale anywhere. If you want to buy this in green, you're gonna have to shell out around $500 to $600. So I was not about to do that on just a single piece, so I figured, well, I guess black is close enough. I've seen some people replace it with yellow, which I think works well enough as well. I just think the yellow was kind of standing out a little bit too much, and I felt the black was a fairly muted and realistic color that still retains the exact kind of point of this model. So in case you aren't caught up on your DC lore, this recreates the first comic book that Superman himself appeared in, all the way back for Action Comics #1, Superman. So there is a glaring omission here. I don't have an extra Superman minifigure with me. Again, as I mentioned earlier in this video, I don't have all my minifigures on hand because I'm not at my house right now, so just imagine Superman lifting this car up, but still, if you look at it, it's very clearly supposed to be that particular comic's pose. So this is a very, very iconic DC scene. It was referenced in several different Superman movies, particularly Superman Returns, as well as the more recent TV show, Superman and Lois, which, not to go on a side tangent, but is actually really good for being a CW show. All the rest of them are not that great, but Superman and Lois, do check that out. LEGO does like to reference this in sets, but this is the first and only full-on set we've actually got to depict this scene, and it actually works out really well. Sure, it is a fairly rudimentary build, it's just kind of a tan base with some sand and rocks outcropping. I guess that's supposed to be a piece of kryptonite there, don't really know why they just have the green transparent circles, so I guess that's kryptonite, but this car is actually recreated very well, and of course this does detach from the thing. It's really just held on by a hinge, so if you did want to, you can just use this car normally in your own LEGO cities. It's a fantastic vintage and retro car. I really do like the build for this. Again, very, very simple, but it gets the point across. And it very clearly is supposed to be the particular green and yellow car that Superman saved all the way back in his very first comic, so that is definitely a plus because this really works out well for the model itself. Now, I personally am very excited to go home and place my Superman minifigure right there. I typically don't really display minifigures with sets. I like to kind of keep them on the walls, but I know I have a ton of Superman minifigures as extras. They're kind of just floating around in a bin, so I will grab one of them and place them right there because that is pretty perfect. I'm very happy with this build, and I'm very happy to own almost a 100% identical build. I think that's supposed to be in trans clear. That was probably my mistake buying it, but I'll replace the windscreen. If only LEGO were to ever finally re-release this part in green in a standard retail set, that'd be fantastic. Please do that, LEGO, so I can finally complete this model, but as it is right now, I'm pretty happy with it. Of course, it's not 100% perfect like pretty much every other model on this list, but to me, it's close enough, and it's definitely not worth shelling out $600 just to get this in green. So there it is, and let's move on to our final build. Alright, and with that, we have summed up this mini LEGO review. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and do let me know down in the comments below what do you think of this set. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? And if you own it, what have been your experiences with building and playing with the set itself? Also, let me know in the comments if you like this format of mini reviews. I'm trying to put them out on a fairly regular basis, so thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Like and subscribe for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very, very soon.